Hey everybody, this is Ryan McClanahan with historythroughcards.com. Hope you're all doing very well today. In this video, I want to share with you the story of Napoleon Reyes, and this is a 1949-1950 Alberta premium. And Napoleon Reyes, he is a Cuban League Hall of Famer, but he also played Major League Baseball in the 1940s. And I want to kind of delve into that. I was looking for some information on him, and it's not easy to come by. I did find two short articles, one from 1944 and the other one from his passing in 1995. Uh, this is a really fantastic premium. It's one of my favorites, actually, and I really wanted something of his to add to my collection. However, uh, I don't think that he has a whole lot of stuff out there. He has probably one of the rarest cards of the 20th century. The 1945 Carmelo di Portovo. It is number 73, and it wasn't distributed to the public. The only way that this thing was distributed was if a fan completed the entire 1945 Carmelo di Portovo set, sent it into the company, and then the company would essentially paste in the missing card, which was Napoleon Reyes, and send it back to the collector. At least that's what I've been told. I've seen maybe like three or four of these cards actually, and they are extremely rare and very, very expensive. But I have seen them in person, and they are really amazing. But he is in the Hall of Fame, in the Cuban League Hall of Fame, and he did play Major League Baseball with the New York Giants. The Washington Senators and the New York Giants have a history of going down to Cuba and basically signing these ball players to contracts, bringing them up, and having them play in the National and American Leagues in the 1930s. So the Cincinnati Reds were one of like the first teams to actually include Cuban ball players to their lineup. Armando Marsans and Rafael Almeida were two, and those two guys are actually in the 1912 T207s. Marsans had, I think, a much better career. I think they're both in the Cuban Baseball Hall of Fame. Getting back to Napoleon Reyes here, there's not a whole lot of information on him that I could find. My Spanish is not that good anymore. It used to be a lot better, but because I don't have anybody to speak Spanish with, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? So there are some articles I did find in Spanish, but again, my Spanish is horrendous. So is my English, as I've been told repeatedly on here. And I've told you guys exactly why. I just don't like the medium all that well. But, again, I always say that English is a third language to me, or a second language. But hey, I try. I'm on here trying to give you guys some decent information so you will not be left in the dark when it comes to collecting sports cards or history or science or economics or printing or whatever else comes along with these sports cards. So when it comes to the 1950 or 1949 Alberta premiums, most of these go for about $20 or so. He may still be in the $20 range, though he is in the Cuban League Hall of Fame. And he's a very, very well-known ball player, although I have really had a hard time trying to track down a lot of information. There are some reports from New York, especially when he played for the New York Giants, and I am going to cover a little bit of that today. Although, getting back to this, these actually were found. I think you can still find them. They're pretty cheap. When I was first getting into vintage, when I was a teenager, I did see a few of these, but they were very tough to get my hands on. So quite recently, I did try to go for the set. It's a 72 premium set, and I believe it's for a elected official. I'm not entirely sure who this gentleman is here. I'm still trying to work out all the details on this particular set, but you can find a lot of these on eBay, and this one is actually one of my favorites. So let's get on to the articles here. I think you're going to find this very interesting. So here we go. This is from the Boston Globe, May 20th, 1943. Gabby Hartnett loses $25,000 interpreter. Toronto, May 20th. Manager Gabby Hartnett says that his Jersey City Giants were nicked for muchos pesos, $75,000 to be exact, when the New York Giants recalled Napoleon Reyes, the Cuban infielder from their International League farm club. I lose a $50,000 ball player and a $25,000 interpreter, moaned Gabby, explaining that Reyes had carried an English-Spanish dictionary and had used it to help catcher Andres Felitas, also a Cuban, learn signals. It took Felitas 3 weeks to learn our signals with Reyes working that Spanish dictionary overtime, Hartnett said. So when Reyes is heading for the train to New York, I say, look, Nap, leave that dictionary behind. I'll need it with Felitas. This is from the Press of Atlantic City, March 23, 1944. Napoleon Reyes, anxious to become citizen as well as a Giants regular. Lakewood, Napoleon Reyes, the husky Cuban who looms large in the New York Giants, plans this season, hopes soon to realize two ambitions. First, he hopes to become a regular in the Giants infield, most likely at third base. Then he will become a citizen of the United States along about September or October, and a soldier or sailor for his adopted Uncle Sammy. Every kid playing in Havana dreams of the day he can go to the States to play professional baseball, Reyes explains. Unlike many of his baseball playing countrymen, Reyes didn't want to go back to Havana to play in the Winter League. Instead, he found a job in breezy Jersey City, and as soon as he had settled down, Knapp took out his first citizenship papers. Reyes contends that 80 games from October to February add to 154 in the regular season, wear a man out and rob him of his speed and vitality. So instead of playing, he kept in shape on a well balanced diet and plenty of work in the gym and lost 33 pounds. Since Vitrigo Munez started him off at Havana University, although his days with the Almendres Havana Pro Club in the Winter League, the Giants have been what he calls my team. He came up to Jersey City as a first baseman last year and may return to that position if Phil Weintraub is accepted by the armed forces, but right now he figures in manager Mel Ott's third base plans. That's all right with Reyes, who likes it better on the hot corner where it is more exciting, no? Reyes carried a pocket dictionary during 1942 and 1943 and insisted upon rooming with an American teammate so that he could pick up the English language. Naturally, he still has trouble, but he is determined to speak English like a loyal Jersey Cityite. This is from the Miami Herald, September 19th, 1995. Napoleon Reyes, former baseball star in Cuban League, by Cecile Betancourt. One of Cuba's most popular baseball players, Napoleon Reyes, who later worked as a baseball manager in Cuba, other Caribbean countries, and in the U.S. AAA League, has died in Miami. Reyes, who had been ill for some time, was retired and living in Miami with his wife Margot and his family. He was 75. Known as one of Cuba's best players during his time, Reyes played for several Caribbean leagues, as well as for the New York Giants in the 1940s. After he retired as a player, Reyes worked as a manager in Cuba, Mexico, Puerto Rico, and the United States, and led the Cuban Sugar Kings team in the International League. He also worked as a coach and scout for the Cincinnati organization. Reyes, an excellent infield player and a strong batter, also directed baseball academies. But in Cuban baseball, Reyes was even more. He was a savior. In the summer of 1941, Cuba had lost the Amateur World Series of Baseball to Venezuela. Discouraged, fans stopped attending baseball games. With his excellent play for the Almendares club's team in the Cuban Baseball League, enthusiasts returned to the stadium to see Reyes, known as the Pride of Oriente, in action. Services were held in Miami Lakes River Funeral Home, handled the arrangements. So at least we get a little bit of Reyes as a ball player and as a person, and his stats with the New York Giants. A lot of these guys had problems staying in the New York Giants system during, or actually after World War II, when a lot of the ball players were coming back from service overseas, and so I think Reyes had a real difficult time trying to maintain uh, the Major League Baseball level, if you will, if that makes any sense. I know there was a bunch of lawsuits of Major League Baseball players and a few Cuban ball players who jumped to the Mexican League in 1946. And a lot of these guys did get banned from baseball for a number of years. And I'll probably talk more about that in an upcoming video or so, because that is a really fascinating part of baseball history. And you see a lot of these banned ball players actually in Cuban League sets from the late 1940s. Again, Napoleon Reyes does have a few cards out there. I think the easiest one that you're going to be able to find is his 1949-1950 Alerta Premium. As I said before, it's not going to cost you a whole lot of money, but he is a really interesting ball player to study. And I think I've not even touched the surface of what he did in baseball. Finding information on some of these guys, these Cuban ball players, really difficult, except if they've gone into the major leagues. Then you'll be able to find some information. But I wish I had actually found more information on Napoleon Reyes. Again, his 1945 Carmelo Tiburtovo is one of the rarest cards of the 20th century. It's on a lot of Cuban collectors' want lists. It's on my want list, but I have a better chance of dating a supermodel than actually purchasing one of these cards. I wanted to introduce Napoleon Reyes to you guys and kind of share a little bit of his career. He is in the Cuban League Hall of Fame, and I wish I could find out more about his time in Cuba and with the Cuban League. But for now, this is what I got. And so I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about Napoleon Reyes, his cards, his career. If you know anything, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. So until the next video, guys, I will talk to you later and have a good day. See ya. Bye. I could see you where I'd take a supermodel out and she'd have like two peas and a carrot and oh, I'm stuffed. But they work hard for their money, so I don't want no hate here on me on supermodels. But I'd rather buy a baseball card than go on a date with a supermodel. That's a very tough job, I'm sure.